welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see how we can do this. We're just gonna wing it. Wing it, wing it, wing it. Okay, we are in. If you're on the live, please let me know if you can hear me. I'm gonna see if I can set, well, it's fine, it is what it is. Okay, so welcome. My name is Shauna Bryant. I am the host of your 5-day self-care mastery challenge. I'm gonna just try to take a peek at both occasionally, just bear with me. Today is day 1. Did you get everything inside your member portal? Did you get your emails? Let me know if there were any issues or things that you're confused about or questions. We had a little glitch with our private Facebook group, so we just moved everything over to Rockin' Mom's Kitchen, and it's Shauna Bryant on Instagram here. So I want you to say hi, tell us where you're coming from, tell us a little bit about yourself. Kelsey was on. Kelsey lives in the Bay Area. She used to be my nanny. Really, the kids loved her to pieces. Recently got married, all of that good stuff. So let us know where you're coming from as we get set up in here. I just need to adjust things a little bit so I can see the comments that come in. Hang tight just a sec. Hang tight. Sorry, guys. I want to make sure this is what we're supposed to be doing. Okay, we're back. All right, so I'm recording here on Instagram. Boom. I'm recording here on Facebook, Rockin' Mom's Kitchen. Boom, done. Okay, so welcome. Day 1 is here. Today's lesson is all about connection. Connection, connection, deep, heartfelt connection. We're going to dive super deep into this topic today. One thing I wanted to mention, kind of a couple of housekeeping things. Make sure when you go into the member portal to watch the video. That's super important, so you're all caught up. You know what's going on for this challenge, how to really dive deep and get the most that you can. So after the 5 days, you really can just feel like you're thriving. You know what to do. You've got all the steps that you need to take to create a self-care routine that helps you break through burnout. That helps you, be less stressed and less reactive, less impatient, right? So be sure to watch that video. I think it's like 15 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, but it's inside the member portal on innerworkingsmovement.com. That was it, basically. That's the housekeeping. So if you have any questions as we go along, write them in the comment box and I'll try to scroll through them. This shouldn't be longer than, I'd say, maybe a half an hour of a call. So if you're watching this on the replay, be sure to hang out all the way through to the end so you know how to get entered into the giveaways. We have some, this is today's giveaway. I'll talk more about this at the end. Here, I wanted to hang tight on these, but just, you'll see. As we go through each day, we have a really fun prize. It's really things that have helped me over my kind of 5, 6, 7-year journey to take care of myself and overcome my own burnout. So let's talk about today's missing key, number 1. So here we are, we're living in this busy, super hectic life, right? And we are sometimes feeling rushed, stressed, disconnected. I found this thing on Dr. Hyman's website. He's talking all about the statistics of depression, anxiety, all of this stuff. So this is really crazy, guys. So Americans, 49% in the survey that they did were found unhappy in their job, okay? 7% of adults have experienced a major depressive episode. That's huge. 13% of that same depressive episode for adolescents. That's like almost double. The adolescents are experiencing almost double more of a depression and a massive depressive episode. 46% of Americans feel lonely. Okay, so why is this? And here we are, we're on social media. I don't want to grab my phone, but we're constantly seeking connection, right? On the phone, through social media. and we're feeling more and more and more disconnected than we ever have felt, ever, than this time of this day and age. And it's because we're not feeling deeply, deeply connected with ourselves, number one, or with our surrounding people, our community, our people that are in our lives, and it's really affecting us on a heart and soul level. Here, let me make sure I'm not touching this. And it's causing depression, anxiety, health issues, migraines, sleep issues. You know, we have such big, high rates of suicide. Like, guys, this is huge. So how can you try and alter that a little bit? How can we, instead of rushing through life and surviving it, and you know, just here we are, like we're on this like train of just constant chaos, how can we get deeper connections? How can we get that heart to heart with ourselves to figure out what we need? And then how can we be vulnerable to create a bigger community? How can we show up as ourselves and try to get deep connections? How can we you know, get spiritual connections and heart and soul connections? How can we do that? We can't do it when we're just busying ourselves all the time and not reconnecting and not checking in with ourselves and not having, like, I call them the ride or dies, right? So we are missing out on connections with ourselves and a community. And it doesn't have to be massive or big or anything, but we're missing this heart-to-heart connection. And that's causing so much depression and disconnect and anxiousness and loneliness. And we just go to our partners for everything. You know, my therapist called my husband my everything. This was like my 6 years ago therapist. And that's true. Like, everything was just on him until I started reaching out. We'll talk more about the steps that we can do, little baby steps, to get connected, to feel not so lonely, to show up, to have heart-to-heart conversations, to have fun and play and find your people that get you and that have been there and done that, right? So when we have our ride or dies, or your besties, or your deep spiritual connection to other human beings, it gives you a sense of community, right? It makes you feel like you're not alone in this crazy world of momming. It makes you be able to have someone to hold you accountable. I'll talk a funny story. I'm going to write that down so I don't forget that one. Headspace story. Okay. You feel heard and seen and understood when you have people that you can connect with on a deeper level, right? And someone to have fun with. I mentioned that already. So my story for you, if you want to hear it, it is about me figuring out that I couldn't do this momming thing alone, right? So my 5-6 years ago self was crazy and overwhelmed. I was so disconnected and lonely, and it was all me. You know, I was like, I've got this. I can do this on my own. I've got this parenting thing, and then you have a second kid, you have kind of a third kid, and you're like, WTF is going on? My friendships are lagging. My relationship with my husband is messed up. And it wasn't till I started being vulnerable, I started seeing a therapist, kind of figuring out, like, why am I going inward instead of going outward to ask for help, instead of just reaching out to a therapist, right? But like having a community to help me through the stuff and to let me know and help me know that I was not alone. And I started doing little tiny baby steps, little things like reaching out. I met a girl at a Waldorf school, which we go to, and I was like, hey, you want to meet for coffee? It took us a really long time to get in together for coffee. It took us like 8 months, but when we did it, we started like going every week. I'm going to meet you at 11 o'clock on a Friday, and we're going to do this. Then I met another friend. I'm like, hey, do you want to go for a walk? Right? This is especially true if like you move to like a new area. We recently moved like 2 years ago. And these are the things that I kind of had to do to put myself out there because I was super depressed. I was super in a a new community, a new environment. I didn't know the shops and the doctors and the grocery stores and the hiking and swimming and all of those kind of places. So this is perfect for you to do little tiny baby steps, and we'll talk a lot about this call. If you're feeling like these, so if you lost yourself, feeling like of just who am I after your second or third or fourth kid, you have no idea what you like to do anymore, or who you are anymore. You just like I said, just moved and can't find a community where they fit in. Have zero time because of all the work and the obligations and stuff that you do on a day-to-day basis. Lost so many friends over the years because you have zero energy and zero enthusiasm to even get up and get ready and go out of the house. You're feeling stuck in overwhelm mode and you feel so alone. So literally, I can tell you my 5 or 6 year ago self was a recipe for burnout, 100%, because I wasn't connected with myself. I wasn't connected with the community. And I had to slowly start kind of shoveling my shiz to get out of that funk mode, right? I want to make sure that I'm staying on track here. So if you're feeling like this, you have to know that you're not alone. There's over 100 women doing this challenge right now with you. Every time we keep adding more and more people to participate with, because we need it. We need a community. We need a ride or die group of people. It doesn't have to be huge. It could be, 2 or 3 super close friends that you connect with on a continual basis, right? Not let them go for years and months and then, oh, hey, what's up? How you doing? It literally needs to be like a consistent, deep, heartfelt relationship where you guys are there for each other. You have fun. You push yourself, you encourage yourselves, or you encourage each other to kind of get out of that funk if you're experiencing a funk. So hold on one sec. I just want to make sure I'm following my notes so I keep being mindful of the time. Okay, so when I started doing my own self-care routine, kind of reconnecting with myself as a woman and as a mom, and what do I like to do, all of that stuff, as I began to grow, some of the relationships began to flourish and some of them fizzled, and that's totally okay. We'll totally talk about a few things that you can do to kind of cultivate relationships in your area. Again, is what we've talked about before. But it's just about taking small, tiny baby steps so you don't feel disconnected, right? It doesn't have to be these huge fancy things, or you guys have to go to expensive restaurants or always go to a spa day or anything like that. It's literally just being able to have somebody that you can call when you need them, and vice versa. Always has to be kind of both ways, So like, do you have a community to hold you accountable, or are you feeling more on the kind of disconnected phase or stage, and who will help you in your life to get out of your funk? Do you have that? Do you have people in your life? And if you don't, that's okay. I was there. I 100% feel you. But we have to find a way to kind of move through that, right? You have to find space and people to lift you up in all of the challenges. There's so many challenges that we face as a mom, as a woman, in 2020, 2020, I don't even know what I just said. But we need people, we need community, we need sisters. And that word used to irritate me, but it's like, literally, you need a group of people to help you and support you and hold you up while we're living this life, through the highs and the lows. And if you don't have that, that's okay. It's just the first step is awareness, just to know, hey, where am I at? And how can I get out of that? How can I kind of start shoveling my stuff so I can create heart to heart? Even just with yourself first off the bat, right? You have to be able to connect with yourself first and foremost to know what you like, to know what you're missing, to figure out if relationships aren't working. Maybe it's time to let them, move on. Or, hey, I'm looking for this. I moved recently. Well, 2 years is kind of recent. And I'm like, I have to open up my community more. I need more entrepreneur people. I need more people that just want to have fun, you know, that want to spend time away from the house and grow and inspire and do big things and big dreams, right? So what can you do to take some tiny baby steps to get some deep connections? First and foremost with yourself, but reaching out to other people. This is why I put this one as the first missing key, because if we're disconnected, it doesn't matter any of the things that we're doing or the relationships that we have. If we're not feeling content here and connected to other human beings, it will not work. We'll just end up in like this right here, the you know, unhappy in your job, the depressive episodes, the feeling of loneliness. Like, that is not fun. However, you can get connections. You can get people to understand you and where you're coming from, and be vulnerable and reach out to each other. And it just doesn't have to be a therapist, right? You don't want to just have your therapist as your best friend, like I did for so long. It's just finding different ways to get creative. I'll share with you a few of the things that I did, especially when we moved, and then back like 5 years ago. I started asking girls to go out for coffee, plain and simple, at my new school. Work. Hey, do you want to go walk? Hey, if you find people at the gym that you're constantly running into, say, hey, do you want to meet up? Do you want to, you know, grab coffee after the gym? Or I remember my sister did some clever ones too. Oh, like meet up? Like, hey, I'm a new mom. My girlfriend did this too when she moved to San Francisco. Hey, I'm a new mom, or I'm a new mom in the area, new to the area. How can we hook up? How can, you know, is anyone else seeking deep, you know, friendships, or does anyone want to play and have fun, or have bunko night, or anything like that? Like, whatever floats your boat and your interest, try it. And don't expect miracles. You know, if people say no, that's okay. That's on them, and you just move on. But you can find some really amazing connections and conversations with people that you have similar things in common, right? So if you like the gym, or if you like the Mommy and Me, you know, stroller classes, or they have a lot of moms groups everywhere. You know, you just have to kind of put yourself out there. And I know that can be awkward and uncomfortable. Excuse me, especially if you're an introvert like I am. It's kind of like, whoa, it takes me a few times to do it before I give up, you know. But think about the things that you like to do. That's why the connection with yourself is the most important thing, because then you can reach out. You can say, you know, I like art, so maybe I'll take a couple of painting classes, or I like to ride my bike. Maybe I'll join a bike meetup or something. Like, you guys see kind of what I'm saying? It's just about being clever and creative, and really taking the first step, well, connecting with yourself, but taking this first step by looking for something. You know, like, hey, I'm not satisfied in my relationship, creating an awareness around that, but then choosing not to stay in that, right? So choosing not to stay in that funk. You just open yourself up to so much possibility when you reach out, when you're a little uncomfortable. And I know it's not fun. I know it's not fun being uncomfortable, but there's so much magic that can happen outside of that uncomfort if you just move beyond that just a little bit, you know. There's so much magic that can happen when you do that. And the reason I think that we need each other, and we need connections, and we need so much spiritual connections, heart and soul stuff, is because we're not meant to do this alone. I know from my experience of burnout 5, 6, 7 years ago, I just thought I could do it all. And that was a recipe for disaster. I wasn't happy. I wasn't feeling healthy. My relationship suffered. My health suffered. There was so many different components of just yuckiness. And it was a realization in therapy, like, I need a community. I need some people who get me and understand me, and I need someone to call. I need people, nannies or babysitters and stuff that will help me when I need a moment, or friends that will do you know, childcare swaps. That's how I met one of my girlfriends like 8 years ago. I met her up on Meetup, and we went a couple of times, and we're like, no, this group is not really for me. But then we connected through that, and she's been my friend for, I think, 8 years now. We don't talk as much, but you see what I mean? It's like there's just different creative ways that you can find connection. So my question is like, what are you feeling you're missing? And I know these are very deep conversations and stuff, but we need to have them. We need to have deep, meaningful conversations with each other to find out what is going on in here, right? What is your heart and your soul needing? And that is the first step to self-care, guys. It's not, you know, you going to all these spa days every day or taking weeks vacations by yourself or anything like that. You can do that, and that's very helpful. However, if you're not connecting to this human being and what she needs, all of that stuff could really be useless, right? So if you're needing sleep, or if you're needing quiet, with 3 boys, that's like my #1 thing is flipping quiet. If you're just needing some time off, or if you're needing to delegate some tasks, and we'll get into this as the days go on, but like literally connecting, sorry, I'm not trying to hit that, but if you're not connecting here with this human being, the most precious person on the planet is you, right? All of the other stuff is just fluff. You can get your nails did and your hair did and your spa days and all of that stuff. You're not going to be deeply connected. You're literally like putting a Band-Aid on what you actually need. Maybe it's connecting with a girlfriend. Maybe it's getting more community. Maybe it's having more flippin' fun. Maybe it's having more date nights. Maybe, you know, we'll talk about a lot about this tomorrow with your one small thing, but what are you needing? Plain and simple. Are you missing out on deeply connecting with your human being yourself here? Are you missing out on relationships with other people because you're too busy and you have so many obligations? Are you busy rushing around all the time and you're feeling disconnected? Like there's so many different levels of it, but we have to tap into what we're needing. We have to connect with this human being so that you can connect with others. It's a deep conversation, you guys, I know, but this is so important. If we don't know who we are and where we're at, we won't know what we need, right? You can't create an awareness around something that you're not aware of. So if you are missing connections and you're feeling depressed, if you can't sit still in the quiet to figure that out, you'll never find the actual answer to it because you have to be aware of it. So I know it's a deep one. I want to hear your thoughts. Hi, Angie. Hi, Elena. I'm going to hang tight just a sec. Let me make sure we're staying on track. What time are we? Oh, 23 minutes. Awesome. So that being said, with depression, anxiety, connections, you know, the neglecting connections, you know, making choices where you don't put yourself out there, all of those components, what resonates with you? Is there something that we can help answer? I'm here for questions for about another 10 if we need it. If not, we'll just dive into the giveaways, but I'll give you guys a minute because I want to talk about this book. Well, I'll just start talking. Let me know if you have a comment. You can always comment in there. This book is our giveaway. Of course, I'm going to send you a new one. I wrote in here, and but this is our giveaway for the day, guys. This is flipping huge. I love this. I read this last year. I've read it, I think, 2 or 3 times now. I read it really for business, but then I was like, no, really, this is like, this is so on a different level. It's about like, have you ever heard of your zone of genius? That's what they'll talk about in here. And if you're like getting sick all the time, or it's very good. He talks about like, you are your barrier for what's going on in your life, right or wrong, right? You are the person making all the decisions. So sometimes we hit this, like, I guess you call it a glass ceiling, or, oh, I can't do that. I talked about that in my membership last week. I can't be a yoga instructor, or I suck at basketball, or I'm not a runner, right? And so you've made up these decisions, or you heard this along the way in your life. and that's just the truth for you. So you live your life kind of skating around that. Oh, I never was athletic. So I suck. I'll just do, I'll just walk or whatever. And then you're limiting yourself and you're not optimizing at your best, highest potential. And that's what this book is all about. So I'm going to keep it, we have just a little less than 5 minutes. So this is the day's giveaway for day number 1. I hope that helped. I hoped it got kind of some juices flowing. I am an open book. I talk about everything. We talk about very deep conversations because no one is talking about deep stuff. And that's just what this community is for, this 5-day self-care mastery challenge. Each day we're going to build upon the lesson. So like we kind of touched a little bit about like, what do you need? And there's going to be so many different tools that you'll be able to kind of put in your like self-care bank, if you will. And we'll just build upon it, build upon it, build upon it. So if there's no questions, make sure this is how you can win the book or any of the days, but each day you'll get a chance to win a prize. And today is this one, okay? This one. I want you to think about, after you listen to this video, write down your biggest kind of takeaway or aha or something that really kind of got you, I don't know, maybe triggered or whatever it is. Whatever you want to write it down on a piece of paper, right? And then I want you to take a snapshot with your phone and tag me at, so wherever you're following me, at It's Shauna Bryant on Instagram, you right there, and then at Rockin' Mom's Kitchen on Facebook here. Tag me. You have to have if you're on Instagram, I think you have to have your open profile, whatever that means. And then use the hashtag 5 days of self-care. And then everyone who does that, we are all gonna follow along. I'll share them all on my social media pages. And you guys are gonna get entered into a hat. I don't have a hat. I can use that little bowl over there for the dog. I'm gonna put everyone's name in for the day so you guys can win a prize, okay? So today, good book. It's an easy read. It's not like, oh, there's little parts that are like, whoa, deep. But this is our giveaway today. So in order to be entered into win this, you have to take the snapshot of today's lesson, right? Connection, deep connection, whatever you want to think about, whatever you want to talk about, whatever is, resonating with you. Take a picture, write it down, take a picture, and then share it with me, okay? Does that make sense? And then we'll do the same thing tomorrow. And then today's winner for day number 1, the missing key, the lesson will be announced tomorrow, and then so on and so forth. So tomorrow's, I don't know what tomorrow's prize is, maybe the chakra cards, I don't know. And then tomorrow I'll announce the winner, and then we'll do the same thing. So every time you listen to a video and you watch all the way through so you can get your ahas, and then, it's just really about creating an awareness, kind of getting you to think outside the box when you're talking about your own beliefs and your own mindsets and stuff. This may resonate with you. You might get triggered by it. There might be so many different things that you're experiencing, but I want you at the end of the call, sit for a second, write it down. Tell me anything that you've kind of a great takeaway, anything that kind of just sat with you that maybe you didn't even think about before. So let me know. I think that's all for the day. We've been on for 30, so I just want to make sure I'm respecting the time because I don't want to go overboard. Baby steps, yes. Oh, so be creative. What are your baby steps for creating connections? This could be with yourself. It could be with your husband. It could be with your friends. What are you missing? What are you feeling like? Where are your ride or dies, I love that. I think that's hysterical. Vulnerability, self-care routine. Okay, I think we did it, guys. So I just wanted to thank you for hopping on our call. If you are watching this on the replay, be sure to follow, as we said, the directions to get the giveaways. I really am excited for all the giveaways. These are things that have just helped me over my years in my self-care journey. And the giveaway at the end on day 5 will be, I forgot what it was, but I know it's a coaching call with me. And then I think it's a combination of a few different like books and music or something like that. But I hope that this was helpful. If you have questions, you can just comment or, you know, email us, hello@rockinmomskitchen.com. And then otherwise, we'll talk to you tomorrow, same time. So all week, 11 o'clock in the morning, on Instagram and on Facebook on Rockin' Mom's Kitchen, and then it's Shauna Bryant. So if you, oh, one thing you can do is you can tag your friends if you want. If you want your ride or dies to come along and kind of join us as we do these 5 days together, that would be awesome. If you don't, that's okay too. But otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock, same time and same place, okay? Have a good day. We'll talk to you soon.